My name is Mark Salamango, and the first thing I have to do is thank Professor Chung for not doing a magic trick. It's going to make me feel a lot better up here, I think. Secondly, I want to thank Lawrence Tech and Professor Chung for inviting me out here. I have an opportunity for the state, and more than the state, for the United States. It's no question, after everything you've seen, that robotics is big now and is getting bigger and bigger. The projections are that robotics will be hundreds of billions of dollars every year in 2014 through 2016. So we know that it's big. We've all kind of figured that out. And we have an amazing opportunity here to do something big in Detroit. If you go to the next slide, please. The next slide, please. The problem with robotics right now is we're a little bit behind what's being done in Europe and Asia. We're seeing some amazing things come out. In Germany, they just ran some autonomous vehicles last week through different cities. The Japanese have had national initiatives for a very, very long time to do the humanoid soccer teams and all kinds of other things. You might have seen Osimo. That's been around for years and years and years, and these things are working autonomously. So we have a little catch-up to do, but the reason we're behind isn't because we're not as smart as the Japanese or as smart as the people in Europe. We just haven't gotten together and coalesced a group of people and collaborated with each other. So if we go to the next slide, we're in a really unique position here, and I know you probably can't read the words here, but the point of it is that with the skills that we have in this area, we have tons of auto skills. But if you look at what it takes to build a robot and what it takes to build a car, it's the same kinds of skills. We're looking for mechanical engineers, business people, marketers. We're looking for computer science people, controls people. All those same kinds of skills really go across both of those vertical disciplines. So we think that we're in the right place. If we go on to the next slide, this is why we're proposing an area we're calling Robotown. And Robotown is really a campus or almost a small city that is dedicated to robotics. It's all kinds of robotics, pretty much anything you can imagine, from sensors to platforms like you've seen today, small, medium, large, pretty much everything all the way up to vehicles, buses, tractor trailers, things like that. If we go to the next slide. So these are some of the kinds of robots we are planning and already started working on for Robotown. We're talking about agricultural robots, robots that can do the farming, that can plant crops, that can test soil, that can do harvesting. A lot of people don't realize that in the United States we're really good at harvesting things like grains and nuts, but we're not so good at harvesting things like fruits and vegetables. But it's something that we believe that robots could do in the future. Think about the hunger problems that we could help solve by having robots that are kind of maintaining some of this stuff. So service robots, obviously military robots, robots in the medical industry are really big right now, and they're only going to get bigger and bigger. So if we go to the next slide. So what we're planning in Robotown are several different thrust areas. We believe that education is really, really critical. And we're not talking about just college level education. We're talking about building the bench for the future. And to do that, we need to get kids started all the way in elementary school. Keep them going all the way through middle school, high school, college, and then even some adult education kinds of things. Because like I said, we have a really great industry of professionals right now in the automotive sectors, and we can do just some small educating to kind of bring them into the robotics world. Not to mention training. We have lots of robots already that the military is using, that law enforcement are using, but maybe aren't using them as efficiently as they could. So we want to create this test facility, this campus, that can help with that. So after education, we talk about testing. And testing is really critical. When you talk about robots on the streets, well, there could be some danger there if we don't do things correctly right away. So we want to have this facility set up so that we can ride these vehicles around, drive them, test them, find out why they break, find out why they do things that they're not supposed to in an environment that is safe for people. And then as we get these vehicles a little bit more safe, then we can start removing some of the barricades and the sequestering of people around them. On top of that, we want to build maker spaces that are dedicated to robotics. We want to take the awesome do-it-yourself communities that exist and leverage their expertise. Because we know when people are passionate about things, that they'll do them on their own. I'm a guitar player. I always have a guitar in my hand. And it's because I'm passionate about it. If you can find the roboticists and the MEs out there and the people that have entrepreneurial spirits and bring them together in things like maker spaces, we think that we can really achieve some great new innovation. After that, one of the things that I want to point out is, and sometimes when I talk about Robotown, they kind of wonder what the vision is, and I kind of see something like Greenfield Village, but with robots. So if that kind of helps you kind of visualize it. So it's a place where it's friendly for people to go and walk around. It's a place where you can see robotic entertainment. You know, robot racing is becoming a really big thing. But you could walk around and watch what the agricultural robots are doing. So it's almost a destination location. I don't want to say amusement park because that's being done other places, but there's definitely an element of a friendly place where you could take the kids or hang out or just kind of walk around, have a cup of coffee served to you by a robotic waiter. And then finally, we want to have tons of robotic events on the campus. There's so many robotic events. There's Magic, there's RoboFest, the IGBC, you name it. There's a ton of them. X Prize is coming very soon. So there's a lot of different things that we want to do. So if we go to the next slide, I kind of covered a little bit of this, but people sometimes ask, why would we want to do this in Michigan? And part of the answer is that we have such an amazing group of workers here already. The labor force is incredible when you look at just the auto companies, and we have more engineers than any other state. We're third in the United States for the amount of engineering degrees per capita that we give out. So there's that kind of thing that's already rooted in our culture. We have, of course, the autos. We have amazing universities. We have amazing medical facilities. And when you look again at what robotics can do for us, those are key verticals that we want to play. Something that a lot of times we don't think about, we take for granted, but we're the border of another country. So there's a lot of homeland security kind of issues that come up around that, as well as we're surrounded by water. So there's all kinds of really fun things, fun robotics problems that we could be solving. Another thing that you may not know, but TARDEC, the Tank Automotive Research Development Engineering Command, is down the street where the chief roboticist of the whole Army is. We have the RSJPO who's here today too. They're taking care of sustainability and the logistics stuff on the side of robots for the military. So that's a real key piece as well. And then finally, I don't know if you all know this, but if you're involved in FIRST, you know that we have more FIRST robotics teams than any other state. And in fact, we have an amazing record with FIRST Robotics. This year we had 3 in the top 6. And every year it's like that. We're top few out of 10 in the top 10. So it's a really exciting time. So if you go to the next slide, I was up late the other night and I got sucked into watching Men in Black. And just about as the movie's ending, this comes up on a newspaper. And I thought it was pretty amazing. Because sometimes I feel like we're not thinking big enough in the city. We're not thinking big enough in what we want to do. And I know Robotown is a lofty goal. We're talking 180-acre campus. I know it's a big idea, but sometimes we fall a little too short. I know we're doing the high-speed rail along Woodward. Well, why aren't we using personal rapid transit vehicles, autonomous vehicles? We know that it doesn't need infrastructure. We'd save a lot of money, and we'd be known for something that's even bigger than just putting in a big monorail. So it's just that kind of thing. I want to just encourage you to think about how can we take things one step further and think bigger. And that's really all the time I have. If you want to go to the next slide, it's got my contact information. If you want to scan the QR code, it'll take you to our Facebook page. But yeah, check out our Facebook page and get involved. We're really enlisting you. We have this huge opportunity and we really need the support of the community to make it happen. So thank you.